Welcome everyone. So excited to be here again. It's been a journey. It's been a fantastic month, and I'm so excited for today's AMA. Yes, I'm really excited because this is one supporter of Wentors, and Mujidat as has been pretty much with us since last year. She has been a mentor, and she also has been a sponsor for the DiscoverHer program. And I'm just so excited because we're able to have her, she's able to squeeze us into her time. It's just a privilege for me. So I'm going to start out by saying welcome to everyone. And I'm going to call out everyone that I see. Thank you so much for joining Ugochi. Thank you, Albeba. Thank you, Afolabi Abigail. Afolabi is actually one of our, she's also part of the Discover Her program. Thank you, Akande, Anne, Anthony, Bula, Chidima, Ridwan, Ugochi. We're going to have more people join in. I'm seeing Chika joining in as well. So thank you to everyone for joining in. Now, usually our AMA runs extremely fast, and I did mention that to Mujidat before we started the program. How can everybody hear me? Okay,
You're
great.
back now, Dorothy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm having an unstable network, but hopefully it works out all through. All right, so I'm gonna call her name, and also, a bit of a profile just to give you a bio on who we're having today. Majidat is a business analyst leader with a passion for driving value, efficiency, and digital transformation. Over the years, she has led complex change initiatives that align technology and strategy. She has helped organizations unlock opportunities, improve productivity, and deliver measurable impact. Like I said, she is a mentor and a coach. She also shares knowledge, create opportunities, and support others in building confidence and capability in their careers. Majidat, I'm really, really excited to have you today. Beyond excited. Thank you so much for being one of the backbone for Wentas. We had a little chat before we started, but I don't want to go into it. I'm just going to give you the floor. Go ahead. Today, you're speaking on finding your voice in tech, how to lead with purpose and impact. And I'm going to give you the next 20 minutes to go all out on what you have for us today.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Dorothy. And hello, everyone. It's really, really good to be here. I do appreciate you taking out your time out of your day to join this session. So without further ado, I will just proceed to share my screen. Just a second. Let me know when you see it.
Yes.
Great. So my name is Mujidat, and I am a Wento. This conversation is really close to my heart because it is about something that many of us struggle with, which is finding our voice, especially in space like tech, where things move fast and where sometimes you don't always feel seen or heard. Today, my goal is simple: to share parts of my journey and hopefully leave you with clarity, courage, and direction. So before anything else, let me set the tone clearly. I am not here as someone who has it all figured out. No, I am here as someone who has walked and is still walking a path that is similar to many of you. And I want to share what actually helped me move forward. So, as I prepared for this session, I kept asking myself, who exactly am I speaking to today? And I realized that this talk is not for one kind of woman. It is for all of us who are navigating our careers with intention. So when I speak today, I am speaking to women in tech who want to grow, lead, and thrive, skilled professionals who feel unseen, skilled professionals who wants to go to the next level, people who feel like they are being overlooked despite doing the work, mothers, career returners, early career professionals, and those that are starting fresh. Anyone that is seeking clarity, confidence, and impact, even when the path feels so unknown. If any of these sounds like you, then you are definitely in the right room. So this is going to be practical and honest. And if you ever doubt yourself or you feel like you needed permission before moving, then this talk is especially for you. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to start by letting you in on who is actually speaking with you. Sorry. Okay, great. There we go. So before I go anywhere, who am I today? Why should you listen to me? I am a mother, I am a wife, a leader, and a professional. Today, I lead a team of business analysts. I work on complex projects. I support people's growth, and I help to shape solutions. But I didn't start here, not even close. And I'm not speaking to you today as someone who has figured it all out. No, I am still growing. I am still learning. I'm still stretching myself for more. So let me tell you a bit about my journey, the very short version, because trust me, if I open the full chapter, we will need a 3-hour retreat. I didn't begin my career anywhere near tech. I started in customer service and then into ICT, account management, testing, into quality assurance, business intelligence, then business analysis, solutions design and integration, technical lead, technical program and project manager, senior manager, and now here in the UK as a business analysis leader. But the real story isn't just the roles, it's the pattern behind them. My journey wasn't linear. I didn't have a roadmap. What I had was persistence. I showed up, I was hungry, and many times I said yes, even when I was afraid. Every stage came with its own challenges, I must tell you that. People misunderstood me, some resisted me, some didn't like that I was growing. But through all of that, there was effort, and there was God. Both carried me. Let me give you one example because this moment actually captures the spirit of my entire journey. Right when I was about to finish my youth service in Kaduna, a lot of us from Nigeria would know that we have to go for NYSC. So right when I was about to finish, I started looking for a permanent job as I didn't want to go back home and start asking mom and dad for transport fare. And I think at that time in Nigeria, transport fare was still 30 naira. I don't know how much it is right now, but I believe that it's so high. So one fateful day, as I was going through one of the job platforms that I visit regularly in search of jobs and opportunities, I noticed that someone messaged the group to kindly assist them, questions that they could prepare towards an interview that they had been invited to. They mentioned the name of the organization. They did not invite me for the interview. No one did. Nobody knew me. But something inside me said, go. And then I went on to the person's DM to message them and say, congratulations. Can you please send me the location? No response. And even then, Google was still our friend as at that time. So I Googled the location of the organization in Kaduna and I went anyway. When I got there, everyone that wasn't shortlisted was standing outside the gate, including myself. We were all gate crashers. And after staying for hours, I saw a man walking into the compound. And then again, something in me said, call him. I beckoned on the security man and I said, sir, can you please help me call that man? He goes, do you know him? I said, yes. I did not know him at all, but I called him anyway. When the man came, I told him straight to his face. Immediately, he came towards me. Sir, you don't know me. I don't know you, but I need this job. Long story short, he took my CV through the gates like I was handing it over to him through the prison bars, you know. He walked inside, came back and said, let her in. Sisters, that moment changed my entire life. Not because I had the qualifications, not because I had the network, but because I had hunger, I had the courage, I had humility. And that same energy, that small, brave, intentional move is the pattern that has carried me from stage to stage. So when people see me today and say, Mujidat, you've grown so fast, I always smile because there is no magic anywhere. It is not connection, it is intentionality. This particular part, I believe, brings me to my next slide, the 5 truths. From everything that I've shared so far, the real engine behind my growth are these 5 truths. Because if you look closely at my journey, from customer service all the way to business analysis leadership, there are these 5 truths that kept repeating themselves over and over and over again. And these are the same truths that can shape your journey too. I started small, and that was my training ground. Starting small is not a disadvantage. Believe me, it is a strategy. Those early roles, they taught me humility, professionalism, resilience, emotional intelligence, everything that leadership requires. Sometimes the job you think is too small is actually preparing you for a room that you have never ever imagined. Then I said yes, even before I felt ready. Every major leap I took it scared. I applied for roles that I didn't feel qualified for yet, but I always told myself, the worst they can say is no, yeah? And even that no will train me. These mindsets accelerated my growth. Now, being noticed, it is not luck. Being noticed is the reward of consistency. Humility and excellence got me noticed. When you do little things, you see it. People watch, and consistency attracts opportunity. It was the excellence in the small things. My senior manager in quality assurance noticed my spirit. My team lead noticed my hunger. People positioned me because I showed up consistently, even when nobody was clapping. And this next one, facing resistance, believe me, it is part of the journey. It is normal, not a sign that you are wrong. Listen, even when you're doing all the right things, not everyone will like you. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone is going to celebrate your growth. Confidence can look threatening to others. That's normal. Keep moving. Some will misinterpret your confidence as rudeness. Some will feel threatened. But rejection, resistance, and misunderstanding, they are not proof that you are unqualified. They are proof that you're growing. These particular building doors, a lot of people actually hide one way or the other. And no, when doors didn't open for me, those particular doors, when they didn't open, I built my own. I sought mentors, I shadowed people, I walked up to leaders, I knocked on doors that I wasn't invited to. I created access when none existed. I built doors. Some opportunities came after a few months, like 6 months. Some took about 2 years, but I always prepared so that when that door opened, I was ready to bite it hard. If you've seen this viral video, I think it was YouTube, where a runner actually stumbled and fell forward across the finish line. That is how I lived my career. That is the way I still continue to live it. So even when you fall, please fall forward. Because all the work that you have done behind the scenes, they position you to still win. Now, let me pull everything together. My growth and the growth of many women that I've mentored comes down to these 6 core ingredients. These are the practical pillars that I live by. Positioning. Nothing changes until you position yourself. Jobs didn't fall on my lap. I put myself in the room, even when the room felt too big. My Kaduna story that I just gave to you, it was positioning. Every transition I made, positioning. No one positions you more effectively than you. And then humility. Humility is not weakness. It is a superpower. Humility helped me to learn fast. Humility kept me teachable. And humility placed me before leaders who were willing to open doors for me. And hunger, it would take you further than talents. I didn't always know everything. I still don't know everything, but I was always hungry to learn. People underestimate hunger, but it is one of the strongest forces behind growth. And then courage. It is doing it even when your voice is shaking. Every major opportunity that I got, I was afraid, but I still showed up. The difference between stuck and elevated is often one brave decision. Do it afraid. Apply afraid. Speak afraid. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And then consistency, we all know this one. It is what turns effort into results. Your timing is not going to look like someone else's. I might be on page 2, someone else is on page 594, and so on. So your timing will not look like someone else's. Some opportunities came quickly for me. Some took years, but consistency kept me moving until the results came. And this last one, faith and effort. I'll be honest, my effort was there, but God breathed on that effort. I am someone who truly believes that when you do your part, God meets you halfway. There were seasons where only God's grace carried me. And just like Jacob wrestled that angel in the Bible and said, I am not going to let you go until you bless me. That was me with opportunity. I held on, I showed up, I refused to let go. And faith aligned my steps. These 6 pillars you see here are the backbone of every stage of my growth, and they can be yours too. Together, these pillars actually form a framework that you can use to shape your own progress, as they are practical and they are spiritual. Believe me, practicality, spirituality, they both matter. So now, let's bring everything together into the core theme of this session, finding your voice in tech. For me, your voice is not just what you say. Your voice is your identity, your confidence, your decisions, your values, Your voice is how you show up, even in the spaces where you feel unseen. These 3 pillars that strengthened my voice over the years are identity, knowing who you are before the world labels you. When you don't define yourself, someone else will define you, and usually they will define you smaller. My identity anchored me, even on days that I doubted myself. I still moved from a place of self-worth. Know why you do what you do, because purpose clarifies voice. Courage, speaking up, applying for that job, asking for that help, knocking on those doors, even with fear. Your voice doesn't grow in silence, it grows in use. I didn't become confident before I acted. I acted and confidence came later. So speak up with clarity even when it's uncomfortable. Consistency, we have talked about it, and it is really important. Doing the small things well again and again. Your voice gets stronger every time your actions match your values. So every season that you persist, your voice deepens. So when people say, Mujidat, how did you find your voice? I tell them, I didn't wait for permission. I showed up. I spoke up. I stayed consistent, even when the room felt too big. Your voice grows through doing. It is not found by waiting for permission. So, how does one lead with purpose and impact? Well, leadership is not a title. Leadership is influence, it is service, and creating opportunities. If you want to lead with purpose and impact, focus on these behaviors. Lead from where you are. You don't need to be a manager, to have a manager's title to lead. Influence is on a daily. And then lifting others. Leadership is lifting others because you know what it felt like to figure everything out all alone. I know what it felt like. Mentor people, share knowledge, create space for others. Lift others as you grow. And then serve with intention. Serve because you want to make the work better, not because you want praise. Create opportunities. If you see gap, design a small solution. Present it. Influence is greater than titles. Believe me, influence is actually what makes you indispensable. And then impact equals consistency. Small, steady actions, they create long-term change. Leadership is showing up consistently, even when no one is watching. And now that is impact. I often say this, when you lead with purpose, people feel seen and systems become better. Now, this is me trying to rush. We have little time and we're almost done, but this is key. My intention is to leave you today with things that you can start doing immediately. Know your direction. People with direction move faster than people with talents. Your hunger matters more than your background. Ask for help. Closed mouths don't get mentored. Some doors will not open until you ask someone that is holding the key. Learn intentionally. Excellence is your silent advocate. When you keep learning, you keep rising. Stay consistent. Consistent is what converts effort into that breakthrough. Move even when you are afraid. Actions grow confidence more than preparation ever will. For that job, apply even when you are afraid. Use opportunities as practice. Use interviews as training, not as judgment. Each one builds you. You sharpen through them. And track your progress. Please keep a brag list. Document your wins because they will remind you who you are on the days that you forget. Your bragging list is not arrogance. It is evidence because on hard days, and believe me, we're humans, these things do happen. Those hard days will come. This list that you create will remind you of the truth. And lastly, build your access. If no door exists, build your own. Mentor yourself into that room. Shadow your way into that room. Prepare until the room calls you. And my final words to you today. I'm going to leave you with two last images, which I've mentioned during the course of this talk. They are the images I always return to. First, the story of Jacob that wrestled with the angel and said, I will not let you go until you bless me. For me, that's posture. Hold on to your goals. Be persistent and willing to wrestle with the process. Secondly, the relay race lady. That relay race moment, the athlete who stumbles near the finish line but falls forward and crosses the line. That image is powerful. Fall forward. If you stumble, make sure your fall becomes your momentum. So in short, you don't find your voice by waiting for permission. You find it by showing up, speaking up, and staying consistent even when the room feels too big. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope something here ignited something within you. I am so sorry the time is too short, but well, there we go.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you so, so much, Mujidat. I mean, if nobody thought that this was significant enough, um, I am, well, 7+ years in technology in my field, in just, transitioning and growing. But I think for everyone and at every stage, whether you are a C-suite level executive, this conversation, this discussion, what you just shared is significant. It's a significant catalyst for anyone. And this spoke a lot. Like I needed to write a lot. And I feel like I would have to go back to this recording just because there's so many things you said that are beyond golden nuggets. And thank you so much, Mujidat. You mentioned something around, I think the last one for me was where you said, use interviews as training Not judgment. Okay, so Ugochi says she can't hear anyone. Okay, Ugochi, you need to check your internet. Mujidat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay,
perfectly.
okay, so it may be from your end, Ugochi. Sorry about that. Okay, so Mujidat, you mentioned something around use interviews as training, not judgment. I think for the longest period, I have done that, you know, and it's just because you feel like you are rejected. And as human beings, we're always having that feeling of rejection, you know, when you're really eager to get something and it turns out that it probably doesn't want you or you missed it at some, you know,
Yeah,
some glimpse or something, you really feel that level of rejection. And that's how it has been for me, for the longest period in all the interviews that I've been to, up until recently when I realized that it's not really a judgment on who I am, but probably that job is
exactly.
not right for me, or probably that job is trying to show me where the gaps are, and I need to quickly go and close it by learning a course or just doing something that has to get me up to that level. So thank you so much for sharing that. You also mentioned serve with intention, not because you want praise. And I think this has
Yeah.
been me for the longest period. I have been working with Wentors since it started in 2020, September of 2020. And it was up until this year that something significant happened. And it was because I had asked God for it. I asked God
Mm.
that I wanted a stake at Wentors. I said, God, I wanted 5% of Wentors. I just said that because I don't know. I just wanted to. Five years down the line, I got 5%
There you
equity
go.
of Wentors. And that's why what you just mentioned resonate with me, which is serve with intention, not because you want praise. I wasn't serving because I wanted them to praise me. I really enjoy the job that I do here at Wenters, the value and
Mm.
the impact. I don't want to say too much, although I have so much that I want to say, but I'm just going to go to the questions because we honestly don't have time, but we're going to take around 5 minutes to go over the questions that we received. And the first here is, what does finding your voice in tech really mean? And how can women identify when they're losing or suppressing theirs? That's a very significant, a strong
It is a
question. And
very good
I hope you
question.
have a good response to that. I'm just going to post it here as
Yeah.
well. Go ahead, Majida.
Okay. Thank you. This is a very good question, like you mentioned. And just in a couple of the slides I went through, for me, finding your voice in tech, it means leading from who you are, not who the room silently expects you to be. It's that point where your values, your competence, and your courage, when they start working together. And to hint at how women identify when they're losing and suppressing their voice. Believe me, you know you're losing your voice when you stop asking those questions. You know you're losing your voice when you stop sharing ideas or you start shrinking yourself because you fear of being labeled as you're too much, you're not enough. And tech moves fast, but your voice is actually what keeps you grounded. The key is self-awareness. Notice when you're holding back and gently ask yourself, why am I holding back? Your voice is not something you chase. It is something that you choose to use every single day.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You said the key is self-awareness. And I think that honestly, summarizes your response to that question. And it probably moves on to the next question, which is, can you share a moment in your career when stepping in your voice changed the direction of your growth and or leadership journey?
Hmm, that's another good one. One moment in my career. I think I can say that one moment that changed everything for me was when I applied for a role that I technically wasn't qualified for on paper. But I knew I had the hunger, I knew I had the humility and the work ethic. I stepped into my voice by telling myself, opportunity may not come twice. If I fail forward. And that decision led me into a completely new path in tech. It opened doors to teams and leaders who later sponsored me and shaped the leader that I am today. Stepping into your voice is rarely loud. Sometimes it's simply saying yes, even before you feel ready.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that. The other question I have for you today is someone said purpose-driven leadership is a growing topic. How can women balance ambition, purpose, and impact without burning out? There's a lot of burnt out women in technology.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah,
respond.
yeah. This is an excellent question. And balancing ambition and purpose is something I think every woman in tech struggles with. And I am no exception. I juggle many roles. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a leader, and a professional. And there are days when all of it feels like a lot, you know? What I've learned is that burnout often happens when we're doing everything except the things that are aligned with who we are. Purpose is what brings clarity. It helps you to choose what truly matters, instead of saying yes to everything. And for me, the balance comes from three things. One of it is anchoring my ambition in purpose. Like, what impact do I really want to make here? And then protecting my energy, is not everything that deserves my yes. And pacing myself. Consistency will always outlast exhaustion. I mentioned this earlier too. You can grow, lead, and make meaningful impact without breaking yourself, honestly. When you lead from intention, not pressure, you create space for both success and sustainability. This is what I believe really holds. Hi, Dorothy, you still there? Looks like it's your internet again, Dorothy. Hi, can you hear me? Oh, apologies. I think Dorothy left the meeting. I believe she's trying to join back in any moment from now. Apologies.
I'm back. I'm back. My
Oh,
apologies.
welcome back. So sorry. Keelan.
Thank
Keelan.
you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we do have one question. I totally missed that. But someone had asked, they said, many women in tech struggle with visibility. What practical steps can they take to confidently show up, lead, and influence their teams or communities?
That's a very good question too. Well, in terms of visibility, visibility actually starts with presence. Show up with clarity. Know what you bring to the table, and please say it with confidence. A simple practice that help could be you speaking up at least one meeting a week, and then document your wins. Like I said, your brag list. Volunteer for small leadership moments. Build relationships even before you need them. The thing is, you don't become visible overnight. You become visible by being consistent. So stay consistent, show up, document your win, and please bring yourself out there to volunteer for some small leadership moments. Okay. Dorothy, can you hear me? Network again. Apologies, everyone. So sorry. I believe we're already close to the end, and she'll be joining back real soon. Just a moment, let me message her. She can see that.
My apologies.
Oh, welcome back. Sorry.
Okay. My apologies on that. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing someone saying, Vivian, please, I'll need the recording. I joined it. Absolutely, Vivian. We're going to share that with you. So I just want to quickly ask one last question, which was about cybersecurity. And I think this ties to our talk today because it has to do with a lady who wants to pivot into cybersecurity. She's a beginner. She has zero knowledge about this. And she wanted to know what are the pros and the cons of it. I know that you're not in cybersecurity, but if you could give us a generic response to that, and then we could use that to.
Hi, Dorothy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. All right.
Okay.
All right. No
Yeah.
worries. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. And you are definitely right. Again, this talk includes people that are starting their career,
Yeah.
in tech and all that. So this fits. And you're very right. I am not in cybersecurity. But again, I know probably a lot of things that a lot of people in the room that are probably not cybersecurity are aware of as well. For me, I would say to that question, yes, cybersecurity is a fantastic area to move into, especially for beginners, because it's one of the few fields, a few technical fields where your mindset, your willingness to learn, and your discipline matter even more than your background. So the pros that I believe are, again, it's high demand. It has a clear growth path, I believe, from what I have read about cybersecurity, because it's an interesting area. And it definitely has high earning potential. And because, again, with cybersecurity, you're protecting real people, you're protecting data, you're protecting real systems. It means it's an impactful work. However, in terms of the cons, it is an area that requires continuous learning. Because again, threats evolve daily and you must be willing to keep updating your knowledge. And again, it can be intense. Security incidents, they don't follow the regular 9 to 5 schedule. The work sometimes demands some quick response and pressure handling, and then your technical foundation matters. You don't need to be a programmer, but again, you must be ready to learn networking, I believe, systems, some cloud basics, security concepts, and all that. So to answer that question, if it's a good course to learn, absolutely.
Yes.
If you
Absolutely.
choose a beginner-friendly pathway, and I always advise you start with CompTIA security, some Google cybersecurity certificates. Then you need to have a structured learning, networking foundations, some operating systems, and so on. But again, not to lose it, the key thing is you don't become a cybersecurity expert overnight. Because if you're hungry, if you're consistent, and if you're willing to learn from all we've talked about today, you can enter the field and grow steadily. Just like any other field, your effort to open the door, your consistency, that is what is going to keep you in that room.
Absolutely, that's correct. Your consistency will keep you in that room. And just to add to that, which is one of the things you said courage is a muscle. The more you use, the stronger it becomes. And this applies to any role for anyone who wants to delve into, technology. It requires courage just because it may seem hard at first, but over time, because of the courage that you have, you're able to pull through, become stronger in that field, and again, you steadily become someone who we then call a mentor. And so yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mujidat. I loved that we had this conversation with you. You're such an amazing woman, and you have done so much for us in this little period, as women in technology, as a community called Wentors. Thank you so much for being a great contributor to us. Thank you.
Thank you too. It's really, really great being here. And thank you everyone for joining. I hope you've learned something today.
Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Abigail says, thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for us today. We're going to go ahead and share the recording once we're done with, putting this all together. Ugochi says, thank you so much as well. We're having a lot of thank yous coming. They said, you really poured your spirit into this, ma'am. Yes, yes,
Aw,
you did. You
thank
really
you.
did,
Thank you so
Mujidat.
much, Abigail.
It sent a lot to me, and it just reminded me of who I am, who I need to be. So thank you. Vivian said, thanks. I have to start. Yes, yes, Vivian, you have to start.
Yes, let's
And
all
to
start
start
together.
now. Yes, exactly. Let's all start together. Absolutely. So yeah, I just want to say again, thank you, Mujida, and thank you to everyone who was able to join in. We will share the recording later on today, or probably during the weekend. You will receive that via mail, and also to the community. Tony says thank you. And with that, we wrap up today's session. Do have a lovely, lovely weekend. Thank you, Mujidat. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.